Giro here for Umbra Games with a review of the PS4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon is an open-world action-adventure game developed by Guerrilla Games, the creators of Killzone, and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It was first announced to us during E3 in 2015 for release in 2016, but then delayed until February 28th of 2017. Horizon portrays a world thousands of years into the future, where humanity has regressed to nearly primitive tribes, while gigantic robotic organisms, shaped like everything from cows to dinosaurs, roam the land at the top of the food chain. You play an outcast of the Nora tribe named Aloy, a hunter with long red, braided hair, and work to solve the mysteries of the world before her, where it feels like any further specifics would probably be spoilers. The key to this game is the acquisition early on of what Aloy comes to call a focus, a small device she wears on her ear that allows her to see and catalog things through a grid-like sphere, activated by clicking R3. This focus will reveal nearby points of interest, and you can see enemy outlines through walls and land, and also access the world's many audio and text logs. You control Aloy in the third person, and use a variety of weapons from spear to bow or elemental bomb-tossing slingshots, as well as some other fun toys like rope casters and trip casters. The majority of combat feels designed to be ranged, but Aloy's spear can be upgraded both in stats and in skills. Every arrow and bomb can be crafted by Aloy by gathering plants, wood, and metal dropped from creatures she kills, and even can be done through the weapon selection wheel quickly displayed by holding L1. Each type of ammo for every weapon has a maximum carrying capacity that can be increased through the game's crafting system as well. Most of these upgrades require live animal parts like boars and turkeys, raccoons, rats, and fish, but wildlife is in abundance nearly everywhere on the map, and you do get experience for everything you kill. Wildlife will show up quite a distance when the focus is active, so while it does take a bit of effort, you're not wandering aimlessly for minutes at a time finding prey. There are a finite number of weapons in the game, and basically feature the same 6 or 7 weapons in 4 various tiers, offering increasing varieties of ammunition. Most of these weapons can be purchased through vendors for metal shards, the currency in this world, sometimes also requiring specific animal or robot parts to complete the trade. You can equip 4 weapons at a time and can switch easily between weapons and their ammo types by holding that L1 weapon wheel. Time will still pass in this mode ever so slowly. Aloy's various outfits don't necessarily increase her overall strength, but instead offer differing types of protection, a frost resistance armor or one that helps her take melee damage better. I'm personally not a fan of armor sets like this because I'm not one to change armor sets based on every enemy I'm encountering. In fact, I never did. I often just change when I like the look of something else. On the other hand, this method provides an amazing amount of balance to the game because you'll never really be overpowered. So when you're level 40 and still cleaning up level 12 quests, you're not just going to go through the motions, a huge problem with many action RPGs today, and honestly probably why more go the route of calling this an open world action adventure instead. More on that in a minute. A majority of your experience points will come from killing machines, with bonuses from hitting weaknesses, killing with critical hits, or knocking pieces off your robotic foes. The game's many quests offer tons of experience points as well, helping Aloy reach a maximum of level 50. Levels themselves boost Aloy's maximum HP up by 10 points and give her a skill point, but beyond that there isn't any further visible statistical change. There are 3 skill trees available to put points into, one pertaining to combat, one to stealth, and one into the resource gathering. Stealth is critical at specific points in the game, not just to stop you from being overwhelmed, but also in Aloy's ability to override an enemy either as mounts or as combat companions. The square button will put Aloy into a lower profile, and she can hide in tall flower patches to remain unseen by most foes. From here she can make critical attacks to unsuspecting passers-by for large amounts of damage. There are 26 total different robot enemies found in Horizon. A few kinda seem just like upgraded models of others, but for the most part the tactics you take for each beast ends up being pretty unique. There's a lot of pleasure to be had in separating an enemy from their weapon by blowing off guns or ammo canisters, even stripping away armor plating for bigger hits. Now at several points in the game you'll be given conversational choices with NPCs. It seemed that a few choices did have an effect in the short term, changing some future meaningful conversations, but not appearing to alter the course of the game in any way. At these junctures you're given a compassionate, angry, or clever option which can help shape the way you view Aloy's character. The world map in Horizon ends up being fairly significant in size, with some diverse terrain from snowy mountains to desert canyons. As Aloy explores, she'll find campfires, where once discovered they can be used as both fast travel and save points, helping you clear long distances in a short span. Fast travel does consume a fast travel pack, which can be crafted fairly easily with common ingredients. Aloy can also craft a few other things besides that ammo. You gather herbs as you're strolling along to make health potions and elemental resistance potions, as well as a few varieties of traps. One other thing I found interesting is that Aloy will keep an expandable collection of herbs in her medical pouch, where you can hold up on the D-pad to initiate a healing to full life until it's empty. If you can't find those medical herbs or you've run out, then you can use harvested meats from animals with other materials to make the aforementioned health potions, so you have multiple paths to gaining life. Most of the play control and combat in Horizon is tight and spot on. There are sections of jumping and climbing that didn't quite feel right though. Sometimes in specific climbing change, it just requires a directional press of the controller. Sometimes you have to press X to make that next jump. You'll actually make Aloy actually jump or jump off what you're trying to climb. Other jumps almost function as a sequence, so it's not really clear that you can make it up a wall, but by holding the stick and pressing X occasionally, you'll have Aloy kicking off one place to arrive at the next handhold. I guess the best way to sum it up is that it's just not very granular climbing. You can't climb everything, there are specific paths you must adhere to, and you'll get up them no matter how unlikely it can seem. Sometimes just plain jumping up ledges and on top of boulders was a bit odd too, when it seemed like you should definitely be able to make that transition. The side quests in Horizon have multiple divisions, some of which kind of felt like an overkill, going between categorization of, say, errands and side quests, in addition to bandit camps, land reconnaissance, and robot factories. The quests themselves, though, are very fleshed out, giving the people Aloy comes into contact with a life and struggles of their own. Many quests involve the use of Aloy's focus, similar in play to that of the Batman Arkham games and Geralt's Witcher sense from The Witcher 3. Interesting objects and people will glow purple when activated, and you'll often find yourself looking for footprints and trails to lead you to your targets. Of course, as all open-world games do, Horizon features several sets of collectibles, from figurines to vessels to metal flowers, as well as dozens of audio and text logs left from the humans before. One thing that really stuck out among some of what can potentially be called repetitive side content comes into play with things like the different tall neck reconnaissance experiences. Aloy's map has areas covered in fog that can be cleared away in sections by climbing to the top of these giraffe-like robots and overriding them. Think Assassin's Creed synchronization points. But the experience to actually reach these vastly changes based on where it's located, giving it a nearly fresh feeling each of the 5 or so times you have to do it. Now, I was a bit disappointed in the rewards I was getting for the collectibles sets, so I admit I didn't pursue them all. I wish I could really talk more about the story, but there are a lot of eureka moments and discoveries that are better left to your own experience should you choose to embark on it. I will say I did not expect to be so intrigued or involved in a story that involved tribal humanity fighting robot dinosaurs. And last but not least, let's not forget about the graphics. I don't have a PlayStation 4 Pro yet, because I don't have a 4K TV and I'm not even sure I can record in 4K at this time, so the gameplay you're seeing is on the base PS4 model. But if I understand correctly, you can reap further benefits from this game if you have one. Now when I finish a game and do these reviews, I often go back through footage and make sure I have at least 10 or so screenshots for my own keeping for each game. It's always funny to see the folder overflowing with some games before I'm even done, when I stop to grab an image. And Horizon Zero Dawn was one of those games. To date, this is the best looking console game I've ever seen. I experienced no technical issues of note as far as slowdown or frame rate dip either. Walking through the forest at night with the moonlight filtering through the trees, the architecture of Meridian, the draw distance and detail of the mountain ranges just constantly had me stopping to look around. This game is so beautiful. NPC character models, however, were a bit awkward at times, coming close to expressing emotion, but instead of the completely soulless plastic characters of an Elder Scrolls game, we're at least getting that animatronic level where eyebrows will occasionally raise and smiles can be seen remotely turning up on lips. The second you're back in the wilds, though, you really stop caring. So, if you're looking for a game with a big, beautiful open world, fun combat that constantly makes you change tactics, quite a bit of content, probably 45 to 50, maybe 60 hours if you were doing everything, a competent crafting system, an engaging story with great writing and voice acting, with some moments of sketchy climbing and platforming, and or if you really liked Witcher 3, then you should most definitely check out Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I've struggled this entire time I've played this game and had several conversations with friends about how to actually classify it. There are definitely some role-playing game elements here, but leveling up merely adds the aforementioned 10 HP to your maximum and offers a skill point for the tree. Damage is all derived from the weapon you're holding and the place it connects with an enemy, not through your character's statistics. You can also get modifications to boost statistics on your gear, sure, but Aloy herself lacks the hard stats and numbers to be okay with me calling this game an action RPG. Not only that, but when you're level 50, as I mentioned, you can still get decent gameplay out of that level 12 quest you missed, which is truly a marvel. Bravo to Guerrilla for nailing that, but further hints at the fact that Aloy isn't stronger from her experience. Leveling is a mechanic to merely unlock skills and raise HP max. Well, those are my logical processes. I leave it as a conversation piece for you. Regardless of how you classify Horizon though, it's an amazing game, and for me, thrown into the open world action-adventure genre, nets a 95 out of 100. I guess I'm basically saying if you were looking for a reason to buy a PlayStation 4, Horizon could very well be that reason. This is Giro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching. Trying to keep up with all this March Madness and all these amazing games coming out, subscribe for more videos on new and recent releases, or follow me on Twitter @Umbra Games.